Welcome to today's news. The news updates. Anxiety as Tinubu's government moves to increase school fees after signing student loan bill. Do welcome once again and thank you for tuning in to this channel. But kindly subscribe to this channel if you're a first timer, and if you have not subscribed, by clicking on the subscribe button and also the bell for more updates. Now to the details. Please listen carefully to the end. Following President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's signing of the student loan bill, the federal government plans to impose tuition fees on students attending federal universities, polytechnics, and other higher institutions. The bill, which is now an act of parliament, was signed on Monday. Many people welcomed the event without realizing what the new law would mean for the millions of prospective students who rely on tuition-free higher education institutions to further their education. This would have this would have broader repercussions, according to stakeholders and education experts. The cost of tuition at both the national and state levels of government schools in Nigeria, which can reach hundreds of thousands or even millions of naira at private universities, is zero, even though various fees for other things like accommodations, departmental fees, and course registration, among others, vary from one institution to another. The situation hasn't changed since independence. Millions of students have been able to attend school thanks to the tuition waiver, but analysts believe that the federal government's implementation of a student loan program will put an end to tuition-free education. The Federal Ministry of Education did not respond right away. According to Student Loan Act Clause 3, the loans referred to in this act shall be granted to students only for the payment of tuition fees. The existing provision that states that tuition is free at public institutions is violated by this paragraph. In the meantime, Chapter 2 of the modified 1999 Constitution states that the issue of tuition at Nigerian universities is a constitutional one. No publicly owned institution is allowed under the terms of that law, and it is prohibited for any one of them to charge tuition to any national. The student loan bill would give needy Nigerians simple access to higher education by way of interest-free loans from the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, according to the act establishing the law. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund provides loans to Nigerians seeking higher education at institutions of higher learning in Nigeria. The act, as enacted by the National, shall apply to all things relevant to loan applications and grants. All students seeking higher education in any public institution of higher learning in Nigeria shall have equal right to access the loans under these acts without any discrimination arising from gender, religion, tribe, position, or disability of any kind, the law states. However, it was made clear that compliance with the terms and restrictions outlined by the Acts was a necessity for the loan to be granted to any students under the Acts. Now we remember that the president signed into law the student loan bill on Monday, and this is to actually make those who wants to go into higher institutions to have access to go without nobody sponsoring them, and they'll be able to get these loans. But there are rules and guidelines in getting these student loans, and these student loans can only cover for tuition fee. Now, there is no specific amount in which the student can loan, although it is an interest free loan, whereby you have to pay after 2 years of your National Youth Service Corps, that is NYSC. After you finish serving, 2 years later, you start paying 10% every month. If you are employed, your boss will be deducting 10% and paying it. But if you're working on your own, you should know you'll be removing 10% from your salary or your stipend. But now the federal government is they are looking at increasing the tuition fee. Is it because the president assigned student loan bill? That is why they want to increase the tuition bill. After forgetting that some state universities are paying hundreds of thousands, while private university are paying millions. So why would they want to increase the tuition fees of students? Students that are even finding difficult to pay for tuition fee now that they can get a loan to pay for their tuition fee apart from other expenses. Now, if you increase the price of the tuition fee, how would they continue to pay? And how would they even pay other minor fees like the departmental fees, course registrations, and co? What the president has done is good, but some stakeholders and education experts have said it's going to have a broader repercussions. But what repercussions will it have? Is it that after the after they've collected the loan, they will have to travel out of the country? But they should remember that once where there's a rule, there's always there's always an of something to bind it. Because if it is not being binded by something, the people are going to misuse it. So the president said failure to comply, to pay, that means you'll be going to prison for 2 years. This is a good one. And they've said that there's no discrimination at all. Anybody that is interested can apply and they'll be given. It's going to, pardon, it's going to look like the loans application and grants. It will be scrutinized before given, but you have to follow the main process. We have come to the end of the news. What's your view? Do you think the federal government who actually signed a student loan bill will want to increase the tuition fees? Please share your view in the comment section. Thank you.